imagine a single narrow waterway quietly controlling your cost of living. It's not something most people think about daily, but its impact is enormous. If this passage shuts down, prices for everyday essentials could spike almost instantly. Today, we're diving into the Strait of Hormuz, a place where geography meets global economics. Let's explore how this small stretch of water can ripple through the world's markets and affect us all. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical choke point in global trade. At its narrowest, it's only about 34 kilometers wide, yet nearly 20% of the world's oil passes through this channel. This means that millions of barrels of oil move through here every single day, connecting producers in the Middle East to consumers worldwide. Its strategic importance makes it a focal point for both economic activity and geopolitical tension. So what happens if the Strait of Hormuz suddenly closes? The world's supply chains would be thrown into chaos. Oil tankers would be stranded, and the flow of energy would be disrupted. The ripple effects would reach far beyond the region, impacting economies and daily life across the globe. Let's break down the timeline of events that would unfold if this vital passage were blocked. A1. Markets panic. Oil prices jump instantly as traders react to the news. There's no waiting. Financial markets price in worst-case scenarios within hours. The uncertainty triggers a wave of speculation, and the cost of energy begins to climb. This immediate reaction sets the stage for broader economic consequences as businesses and consumers brace for higher costs. A3. The shock spreads. Fuel becomes more expensive, and shipping costs rise as tankers face uncertainty. Insurance premiums for vessels skyrocket, reflecting the increased risk. Global trade starts to slow down, with companies struggling to secure reliable transport. The effects are felt in ports and warehouses worldwide as supply chains begin to fray under pressure. A30. The impact reaches everything else. Food prices go up, not just because of transport disruptions, but also because fertilizers become harder to move. Inflation spreads across entire economies, affecting households and businesses alike. The cost of living rises, and governments scramble to manage the fallout. This is when the true scale of the disruption becomes clear. But oil isn't even the real problem. The real issue is everything connected to it: supply chains, agriculture, and shipping. When oil flows are disrupted, the entire network of global trade is affected. That's how a narrow strip of water can trigger a worldwide economic shock, touching industries and communities far from the Middle East. When oil shipments are delayed, supply chains falter. Factories may run short on raw materials, and retailers struggle to stock shelves. The domino effect can lead to shortages of everyday goods, from groceries to electronics. This interconnectedness means that a disruption in one area quickly spreads to others, amplifying the economic shock. Agriculture is deeply tied to oil, especially through fertilizers and transport. If the Strait of Hormuz closes, moving fertilizers becomes harder, and farmers face rising costs. This leads to higher food prices and potential shortages. The agricultural sector, often overlooked, becomes a major casualty in the unfolding crisis. Shipping is another critical link. With insurance costs soaring and routes blocked, global logistics grind to a halt. Goods that once moved freely now face delays and higher prices. The world's ports and shipping companies scramble to adapt, but the disruption is felt everywhere, from small businesses to multinational corporations. This is how a narrow strip of water transforms into a global economic shock. The interconnectedness of oil, supply chains, agriculture, and shipping means that a single disruption can ripple across continents. Economies, large and small, feel the effects, and governments must respond quickly to stabilize markets and protect consumers. The Strait of Hormuz isn't just about geography, it's a geopolitical hotspot. On one side, Iran holds significant influence. Nearby, the United States maintains a strong military presence, ensuring the passage remains open. Economies like China rely heavily on this route for energy, making it a focal point for international diplomacy and tension. The strategic importance of the Strait of Hormuz cannot be overstated. It's a lifeline for energy and trade, connecting producers and consumers across continents. Its closure would not only disrupt markets, but also reshape geopolitical alliances and strategies. Nations monitor this passage closely, aware that any disruption could have far-reaching consequences. If the Strait of Hormuz is disrupted, it won't just feel like geopolitics. It'll feel like everything fuel, food, and everyday goods getting more expensive at once. The effects reach into homes, businesses, and communities, changing daily routines and budgets. This is the real-world impact of a global choke point. As we wrap up, let that last line breathe. The Strait of Hormuz is more than a map location. It's a pulse point for the world economy. Its closure would send shockwaves through markets, supply chains, and everyday life. Understanding its importance helps us see how interconnected our world truly is, and why even a narrow waterway can shape the prices we pay.